Welcome to the Edamame Anime Club, where we cry even when the villains die. I'm Steve, and I'm joined with my co-host.
Alexander, as always, great to be here.
Good to be here. Yeah, this is we picked. It is the Halloween season,
Yes.
and I picked this one, but it's been on a lot of Halloween top 10, top 15 anime to watch of the Halloween season. So, which anime are we doing?
We're going to be doing a pretty popular title. It's called Devilman Crybaby, which I've actually seen the first episode in the past, but I'm surprised I never actually watched the series. I think a friend showed me the first episode because I remember the whole rave scene.
Yeah, I
In the
mean
beginning.
it's unique. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's unique. Watching it is unique. There's another anime that's close to it, and I kind of want to. I didn't touch base on it, but I have seen it. But the animation style is pretty similar to this one as well. But we'll get in that when we start talking about the animation. All right, so we are
Yeah.
doing Devilman Crybaby. Before we go, let's go ahead and crack open these cold one. We're doing Beast,
The Beast.
which seems
Yeah.
appropriate for
For
this
sure.
episode.
For
Yeah,
sure.
Beast monster, mean green. Is there a red one?
I don't know. I think it's like the second time I've ever had this
I
before. So,
yeah.
all right.
Kampai.
Kampai. It tastes like monster. Surprisingly, like who would have
Surprising
guessed? Who would have
that
guessed?
this monster that's made by Monster tastes like Monster. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about it, but we're gonna drink it anyways.
Yeah.
6%.
Yeah.
All right, so a quick breakdown of just kind of not really a synopsis because it's honestly writing a synopsis for this anime. It's so in depth. It would have to be like someone's dissertation.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So I really just want to start off with kind of the beginning, and then you can jump into the production and all that. Who else made it? And
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Well, to begin, Devilman Crybaby is a original net animation, which I've never heard that term before. Not sure what makes it a ONA original net animation, but it's based on Go Nagi's manga series Devilman Crybaby, and it's adapted from the 1970s setting to give it a modern 21st century kind of spin to it. And you were telling me that this is the newer version of it.
Yeah.
So I don't have any prior experience with the original source material or what.
Yeah, I mean, they show like hints of it through the anime, like the TV commercials in the back, and there's like little like on. I think there's one scene where
Yeah, okay. You were
yeah,
telling me.
yeah.
You were showing me like, oh look, it's like the throwback to the how Devilman Crybaby originally looked.
Yes, yeah, like he has a gray face,
Yeah,
and like it's not like the way he looks totally different.
Yeah.
He looks like more like a Dragon Ball Z character in like the original one.
Yeah. It's got heavy themes of puberty, sexuality, sex, love, and LGBTQ identity, and it is explored by many critics, although the series perspective and ending are highly divided. They're divided. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people's opinions on this is divided.
Oh yeah.
On
When I was looking into this, because I know it seems like we just jump on here, but I did like a lot of research prior to this, really trying to get underneath what everyone else is saying about how this anime ended. And I've been telling you this for a while. This anime ends on like what has one of the best endings in my opinion.
Okay, I actually really like the ending.
It just to me, I mean, and I'll talk about that a little more, but just a quick little beginning story of it. I mean, this story is about Akira Fudou,
I believe.
Fudou, Akira Fudou, and how he is technically he's a crybaby.
Yeah.
He cries at everything. He cries for other people.
Yeah.
Or when people or animals are in pain.
Yeah.
And he and his friend, he lives with his best friend Miki, who's also the love interest. Yeah,
I can see that. Yeah.
It's implied. It's heavily implied that
sure.
she's love interest. He lives with them and their parents and her brother, who is Taro. Am I saying that right?
Taro, the little brother.
Yeah, and Taro actually has some weird, interesting thing where he's the one like always bringing up Devilman, like comics and watching the animation. So that's kind of interesting as well. He lives with her brother, their parents, because like, his parents.
The parents are like the parents he's living with are his parents' best friends. So,
yeah, exactly.
So they've agreed to take care of him.
Yeah, they so and his parents are out there, and we won't say what they're doing yet because this is a non-spoiler, but that's what he does. And well, after a track event, because it's really all about track. It's really that's the story where it starts off. It comes off of being track, and then we dive into him trying to protect Miki from this attack. it doesn't show. They're actually not attacking. They're just kind of cornering her.
Yeah.
These rappers, and we get to see Rio for the first time. Now there is a scene between them. We'll start that, but again, no spoilers. Ryu, who is his childhood best friend, and says, "Akira, I need you," and they go off, and then that's when the journey starts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess we could just jump right into our ratings.
Yeah. So you want to do like our pros and cons, or?
No. We'll do our ratings, and then we'll read what other people say.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is a hard one, man.
It is. I agree. It was hard for me to think about because there's things I really loved about it, and there's a lot of things I didn't like about it.
Yeah, I mean, it just the story, the themes, everything, but then the music, yeah, and then we get so I watched this twice. The first time I watched it, I was like, "This is the best anime ever," but I don't know if I was just being somewhat pretentious
Okay.
and like opening up to the open-endedness because there's a lot of things I found wrong on the second rewatch, and this is the same thing that happened last episode of Afro
Samurai. Yeah.
yeah, the rewatch, you start catching these little things and they're like, was that needed? Was that important? And then, then you look more into it. But this rewatch really did open my eyes because if I watch this again, I probably would almost give this a perfect score. I thought it was that good.
Mm-hmm.
After the rewatch, 4.25 edamames.
4.25 edamames. All right. I'll give this one a 3.5 out of 5 edamames.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm curious. Is it the animation?
The animation was. It actually didn't detract to me too much for the animation, but it was out there. It goes from like looking really great, fantastic. I love their style that they're going for to like looking like You ever see like those memes where it's just like quality where like someone's like hand is like half drawn, like their face or their eyes are like kind of off center. Like it goes from like being really good to just looking like wonky, like they're intentionally looking like low budget, which maybe that's what it was, and they were just trying to save on the non-important scenes.
Well, a lot of the wonkiness was stemmed from the devils or the demons.
Yeah.
So maybe that's kind of where they're getting at, like the
Yeah.
demons that are able to like make you feel uncomfortable. With the
Yeah, I
animation
guess I
stuff.
could see that being jarring, but like it was sitting
Again,
there.
but I'm reaching. Though.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
reaching.
Yeah.
It's like I'm reaching.
You're creating an excuse for the animation to look bad.
Yeah, but I didn't even the good parts. I did not like the animation at all.
Really?
I despised the way it looked completely. Not the animation style I like. And that's because I even say I'm okay with CGI to an extent.
Mhm.
This animation to me was just not for me.
I'm not even really sure if they use CGI in this one.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be pointless because the background characters are legitimately like, circles and triangles and then a smile. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So it would be like, why spend the budget on CGI when you have?
I don't think they use CGI at all.
Yeah. So that's one of the big things I took away from it is like the animation. I almost didn't watch it. I don't even know why I watched it because normally I would watch the first 5 minutes and be like, nope, and walk away. But it did something. I guess. I can't give out any spoilers, but watching the first episode, it really did entice me to keep.
Oh yeah, the first episode's great. The way it ends, it sets up a very very good cliffhanger, and the first episode is designed to draw you in, and it definitely does.
Oh yeah, 100%. And the intro, I mean, I do think we get an intro.
Yeah, you get the intro on the first episode.
Yeah,
that one. I love the music. Love the intro. It kind of hypes you up.
Matrix little. Like we're at a Matrix rave.
Yeah.
Which is funny because they kind of use something like that. So but I take off points just because the rewatch. They did something with some characters, which I'll talk about later, where they didn't talk about. It's heavily implied, but it's really us just playing the guessing game.
Yeah.
And I'll talk a little bit about that when we get there.
One of the, I guess my main drawback and what prevented me from enjoying it the most, right? I did like it. I did like the entirety of the anime. It's almost like kind of like a snowball effect. Like the snowball's like rolling quicker and quicker downhill as far as the plot's concerned. And by halfway through, it's just barreling through everything. And like by episode 9 and 10, it's massive and just like it's just going all out. Like there is no like to me it wasn't. It seems continuous, but it's slowly getting quicker and quicker until like episode 4. Like it seems like it has a coherent structure to it, and then it just starts going like balls to the wall.
Yeah,
like a bunch of weird things start happening. It was hard for me to follow it. It's hard for me to follow some of the character plots.
Yeah,
Um,
that was trouble for you.
Troubling for me, yes. Okay, yeah. I had a lot of trouble.
He did have a lot of, normally I'm the one that's having the
Yeah.
most trouble with like who's that? It's like this guy was explaining, but you know it's also because I rewatched it. But yeah, there is like a lot of like characters that you forgot about that come back later, and then you're like, is that the same character? We had
Yeah.
that problem with one of the
Yeah,
characters.
for sure I did.
Yeah, and we had to explain it. And then also, there's two characters with the same name, but one decides not to use it. I understand that,
Yeah.
but I'm already having trouble with names to begin with.
that one tripped me up a lot. Miko and Mika, that dynamic threw me for a loop. Like I had to sit there and like pause the anime, like wait a second. Like,
yeah, and they do talk about it, which they do.
Yeah, they talk about it in the anime too, but I was like just kind of thrown for a loop there. Yeah, and the like I said, the way the plot goes, it's kind of like almost like high school drama to begin with, like kind of plot points, and then it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger in the scope, and by the end you're facing like apocalyptic type of plot points. Like
you could put someone to watch the first episode of this one and watch the last episode, and they would never even come close to filling in all that.
All the gaps.
And there was like 8 episodes that are between the first and 10th. So that's something I think you're right. They did like have a rippling effect, like exponentially, like you said the other day.
Yeah.
So
maybe if they had, instead of 10 episodes, it was 12 episodes, and they fleshed out some of the ideas a little more, I think I would have given this one like a 9 out of 10. It was just like I really enjoyed it, but like those small aspects of like those, like it was like 2 or 3 episodes right after the halfway point that I'm just like, I'm getting whiplashed here.
Yeah, it was Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we have. So 4.25, and you said
I said a 3.5. Yeah.
Okay.
3.5.
Yeah. So what are other people saying about it? You got a bad and a good. This has to be the fun. This guy is gonna be hilarious. I don't know. Haven't heard him yet, but I know this is gonna be funny. Because I don't understand. If you don't rate it high, you didn't understand it. If you rated it low, you're pretentious. Sorry, vice versa.
Yeah. All right. So this guy gives it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
I don't see his name here. Oh, Redis26. Okay. So he prefaces this: great anime, 8 out of 10. Even though I'm not familiar with the source material, I decided to watch this anime. The first couple of episodes I felt were okay-ish. What I did not realize is that this was setting up for the story of the second half of the series, which is where the show really shines. It is then that it becomes immensely brutal and uses the background of the first episodes to build on. Blood and gore go hand in hand with the drama that unfolds in front of your eyes. I was shocked to see just how brutal it becomes and had to fight against the tears on some moments. If you're looking for a feel-good anime, this is not for you. If there is one bad thing I can say about the show, is that it's too short. With 1 or 2 episodes more, they could have clarified some background stories and made the final battle more intense. The ending is thought-provoking, in fact, much more so than Neon Genesis Evangelion. But if a bit more time had been invested, it would have gone into the history books as a classic for sure. One of the best animes on Netflix. I highly recommend it.
Did you write that? Yeah, that's pretty good. I like. So he said, if you're looking for a feel good, I was like, this is not a feel good. And then you go, then don't watch this. Yeah. So that was actually a pretty good review. I agree with some of the things.
Yeah, he highlighted some of the things I was talking about, like one or two more episodes to make it really shine.
I don't think it. I don't think it needed it. I think there's certain things they could have included, like to explain a little more. But it's hard to say. It's hard to say adding 2 episodes, because maybe adding 2 episodes again, making it longer, it doesn't necessarily make it better.
You're right on that. Yeah,
but also there is some clarification we needed on some characters.
Yeah.
Really, and we'll dive into the ones I'm. I think you know what I'm referring to. Mm-hmm. But that's a pretty good one. Is there a bad one?
Yeah. Okay, I'll let you.
There's no way there's a bad one. No way. Everyone loves this anime.
I don't know. See, some people like just love to come on here and just shit on anime, which I'm not sure if this is what this guy's gonna do, but they just want to piss on people's parades.
Yeah.
But all right, so here's a 2 out of 10 review written by W. Williams 675, and then a bunch of other numbers. I'm not gonna bother reading.
No.
All right. It says, not worth the time. If you have ever watched something because you couldn't stop watching, but you did not know why, then you know how I feel right now about this show. Sometimes you watch a show until the end to see if it gets better. Sometimes you watch the show because it is so captivating. For me, it was the former, rather than the latter. And much like a lover who cheats on another, I felt immediate regret that I had watched it to completion. This is a very dark show that gets darker as it progresses. However, there is no redeeming value to it at all. It is one thing to watch a dark show that appears to have a purpose, but quite another when, at the end, the first thing out of your mouth is, "That's it." I would recommend watching literally almost anything else, unless you are into gratuitous violence, bloody animated nudity, and sex. A plot that jumps all over the place, goes in circles. It is amazing what makes it to the screen these days.
You read that really well.
Oh, did I?
That was actually pretty solid. You said it's darker and darker. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah, it was. No, I don't. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to disagree on some of these things.
Yeah.
The TF, right? Like there's so many redeeming qualities. Like the characters all come. Like there's
Oh,
so
yeah.
many. Like there's redeeming characteristics with a lot of the characters that are there. Like redeeming continuously.
Mhm.
Fixing their wrongs throughout.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I don't get. So maybe as a whole, maybe it's not redeeming enough for him. But really, I think each character has some redeeming factors to
Yeah.
them.
It's almost interesting because his review was like is like a bad review, but like some of his comments, like the show gets darker and darker as it progresses. It's almost like a highlight of the show.
Yeah, he's like, make me want to watch. Ooh,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
dark is it getting?
yeah.
Like, it made me want to watch it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and we picked this one for our Halloween kind of it's October, so we're doing kind of horror anime, so that fits the theme. That's why we picked this one to watch.
I definitely agree. I mean, this is considered a horror,
Hmm.
and it's somewhat there is like it's horrific, and
Yeah,
again, it's hard to find horror in anime
Yeah.
because there's not really that many like pop up scares.
yeah,
They kind of build on that, which is really conducive for the storytelling.
yeah,
So that's I don't agree with this guy.
yeah. 2 out of 10. This sounds like this flew over this guy's head.
Yeah. Again, so I think when I kind of figured if anybody rates it high, they are they're being pretentious.
Mhm.
Anyone that rates it too low, they're being kind of like
They're not following the themes well.
yeah,
at
it might
all.
go over
Yeah.
their head.
Yeah.
That's at least what everyone's gonna say.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Anything else before we get into the spoiler section?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Let's jump into the spoiler section.
All right.
All right. So we start our story really with it's Ryu, who is the Ryu and Akira are both the main I don't want to say heroes yet. It's hard to say because finding out who the hero is. So let's say the main anti-heroes.
Yeah.
Because I mean they're not great. Akira is, but
Yeah.
Ryu, there's something with Ryu, and it starts off with them as children.
Yeah, it starts off with them as children. Sets up this dynamic where like Akira is like this is like crying over like a dead, what was it, like a bunny?
I thought it was a cat.
It might have been a cat.
Yeah.
But Rio is holding a box cutter like wanting to murder it, and like I think he's like saving it and he wants to murder it and like put it out of its misery.
Yeah. So
And-
which one would be the right thing, right? I think
Yeah,
we all
yeah.
know, right? But like Akira just wants to save it, and Rio thinks by killing it you're saving it.
Yeah.
And
And of course it ends up dying in the end anyways, and Akira's just crying over it, and Rio's just like, why are you crying? You knew this was gonna happen anyways.
yeah.
It's setting up that dynamic.
And there's that interesting part where it's like, there's quit it, Rio, you're crying too, and he's not. He's all, I'm not. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but it was raining in the scene, so that's always a Japanese trope where you.
Yeah, and I like the way. So do you see how they're holding the umbrella? Akira has the umbrella over the cat, and Ryu has the umbrella over him, his umbrella.
Oh
So
no!
he's
I
getting
didn't-
rained
I
on.
didn't catch that. No.
Yeah, he's getting rain on the entire time, and he's just like you're crying too, but that's why he
Yeah.
has an umbrella over and that sets up the dynamic of their two relationships.
Yeah.
Akira's trying to save other people while Ryu, at least for the beginning, is trying to save basically protecting Akira.
Yeah.
Like utilizing him, taking advantage of him, but you can tell he I guess he loves him. It's hard to say what he feels for Akira, but he obviously recognizes Akira years later, and he
Yeah.
finds where he lives and goes and looks for him, and that's
Yeah.
what's the episode of this one is called Akira, I Need You.
It's called I Need You. Yeah.
I Need You. Yeah,
It's called episode 1's called I Need You.
and it starts off interesting. I mean, after that, we get into the story of
Yeah,
them when in their high school.
It's kind of time skips to the forward, and it's got Akira This is like he's on a high school track team.
Yeah, and he's not great.
Yeah, he's
He-
pretty pathetic.
Yeah, he's just great. Like everyone's like, why is he running?
Yeah,
But that's when we get to introduce like the opposed, like the alleged love interest,
Yeah.
Miki, and Miki is the track star,
yeah,
not just in her high school, but I want to say in her entire like in the nation of Japan.
yeah. Well, they got this thing. She's definitely the best in the region, maybe the city.
Yeah,
I don't
so,
know about
like,
all of Japan. Could be very well though.
Yeah, everybody knows her.
Yeah,
She's very well.
She's
famous.
basically famous. Yeah.
Yeah, she's famous and everyone knows her and everyone's like wants
Yeah.
her and then this episode just has so much to dive into. So Miki has this guy because she does modeling and he has an interesting story behind him too. He's basically wanting to get he's like pervy, you know.
Yeah, he's taking pictures of her. I'm trying to find him here. I think his name's Nagasaki.
Yeah, pervy, is that his name?
Pervy.
Yeah. So he's trying to get pictures and he kind of comes out in every episode and he has an interesting story to be told in the kind of the midway through about what he really wants and what he's really after. But yeah, so he's doing that and then that's whenever they do the whole running. Obviously Akira sucks, Miki's amazing, and then they part ways and they go back and that's when we find out that Miki has kind of didn't go straight home. She actually went to the dock, the pier,
Yeah.
and laid down.
She got a call from him, right? And she's like, I gotta go. And this is where it like kind of reveals that they're walking home together, like Miki, Akira, and then
there's like
the third friend,
yeah,
right?
Who I don't even remember her name. Don't worry. They're not important.
Yeah. So like they're walking home together, and then like Miki's like, hold on, I gotta take care of some stuff, and then Akira decides to follow her.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's lying down on the dock, and she's kind of getting like harassed by like I don't even know, like a group of delinquents. I don't know if that's the way to describe them.
They're just rappers.
Yeah, they're just rappers.
But they start pressing her.
Yeah.
They start like getting in front of her, not letting her pass, and then Akira is like, "Hey," like he isn't even challenging them, but he comes to rescue her.
I actually found that scene really humorous because he calls himself like the underwater mermaid or something like that.
Yeah, and that comes back later on in episode 2.
Yeah.
So he does this whole scene where he like, where did you come from, merman? Yeah, underground. Yeah, and he's just there, and he basically stops them from doing what they're gonna do, and he didn't even do anything, by the way.
Yeah.
Because he's not even in the area, and that's when Ryou pops up like speeding and pulls up in his car, and we get the first introduction to Ryou as an adult or as a teenager. He's still a teenager.
Yeah.
He comes out and he pulls up. He's all Akira.
He pulls up in like his Maserati.
Yeah, he's all badass.
Whatever. Yeah.
He has like a huge white like chinchilla
fur coat. Yeah.
He pulls up and he's all, I need you. And Akira runs up the stairs.
Yeah.
And we get the true love embrace. This is a big he doesn't even give a shit about Miki at this point.
Yeah.
Miki can be getting her ass kicked. He's out there loving up on Ryou.
Yeah.
And then Ryou pulls out like, I don't even know, like a Mac 10.
Yeah, like a machine gun and just like and shoots at the delinquents. It's like a group of 4 delinquents that they're like their whole thing is that they're like rapping. And he like shoots up the dock in front of them, and then they get off in the car and they speed away.
Yeah.
Which I actually really like Ryu's introduction. Like I actually really liked him throughout the show. Anytime they show him on screen, he's like suave Playboy-esque he was
definitely like I never hated him.
I agree.
I never hated him.
He's like he's making moves and he doesn't care.
Yeah, he's doing what he feels is the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he also has the income to do it. But they speed off and then Miki gets away, not because of Akira.
Yeah.
Maybe a distraction. Gets away, leaves her bag there. We'll come back there for that. But we get the cool driving scenes.
Yeah.
It's like Vice City.
Yeah,
I think you said that, right? Like Vice City.
Yeah.
It's like they're driving off Vice City and they're like, driving. They have the scene where it's like dark, but the lamps are passing over them.
Yeah.
And it shows that happening. And he's just talking to him. And that's when we get introduced that Ryou is kind of over the last, so many years, I guess 10 years, that he's gone to become a professor, a famous scientist.
Yeah, he's like well connected. And they give this weird backstory of he's talking about like the professor he was helping doing research.
Yes.
And I actually kind of like this how they change up the I don't know if the right word for it is. I was gonna say like the dialogue, but they switch from like talking in Japanese to English, like to show that it's like
because the professor like spoke English.
Yeah.
So and I didn't. Yeah, it was kind of hard. It was like weird, right?
Oh well,
yeah.
I mean that's just kind of how it is.
I didn't catch it. We were watching it, and then I was like, "Did we switch it to like English?"
Because it still had the subtitles, but yeah.
Yeah. So and he's helping this professor out, and I don't want to go with you. and the professor basically is kind of not. He's kind of being odd.
Yeah, he's definitely odd. He's like killing birds or something as he's talking to him. I forget what he says about it.
Yeah.
He's like they don't stop chirping or something like that.
Yeah,
He's like
he has a
butchering.
problem with the birds.
Yeah, he's like butchering them on a table.
Yeah.
Um,
So, damn it, Charles, lay him down. Lay down, Charles. There you go. Stay there. So we have this scene though, and it's a really cool scene. And this is still the first episode. I mean, we have to pick it up.
Yeah.
We're gonna pick up the scene. And we get the scene where the professor is like, I want to, kill me, do this, and he's giving him directions. And while he's doing this, he starts to like pour gasoline on him.
Yeah. It switches to the scene where they're like out in the jungle and Kyo, what's his name? Ryou.
Yeah, Ryou.
Rio's waiting for him, and then like the professor comes back, but he's like trying to kill him.
Yeah,
right?
He lunges at him.
Yeah.
He lunges at him, and then that's whenever we get to know that he was like fighting off this
Yeah.
devil, this demon inside of him.
That's the reveal of the devils.
Yeah, the reveal, and that's kind of where Ryou is like getting his main thing. He's like he wants the world to know of him.
Yeah.
He wants to expose them.
So he's like feels like he's gotten passed down this objective from like I guess his mentor in Africa, wherever that was.
The Amazon rainforest.
Yeah. He ends up burning himself to death because like his humanness doesn't want him to be a devil, so he like lights himself on fire with a bunch of gasoline before he can kill Ryou or whatever.
Yeah. And he ends up like also blowing himself up too.
Yeah.
He like does some of the gas tank where he like has to go into the gas tank.
Yeah.
So and he goes up, and that's where we're at right now. Where Ryou's telling the story, and they're going to a party. It's like a rave, and it's called the Black Sabbath.
The Black Sabbath parties.
That's what they're calling it, and they're just hanging out, and it's really just like a glorified sex club.
Yeah. It's like a degeneracy to the max, which I actually really liked.
I enjoy it.
There's a lot of nudity. Everyone's doing drugs.
Everyone's doing drugs. Everyone's having sex.
Yeah. Akira's takes like a pill too, which I actually really liked in the first episode because like as like the climax of the first episode's happening, like the pill's hitting him, so it's like
is he living it, or
yeah.
maybe that pill just killed him? We don't even know.
Yeah.
But we get to see him kind of trip out. He kind of seems straight edge. I
Yeah,
didn't know
for
if
sure.
he was. He just seemed straight edge.
Yeah, for sure.
So he definitely got to like experience that. And then it's funny. This is and again Ryou just being this like erratic.
Yeah, he's like the wild card. Like you would not expect him to be doing this.
This scene, dude, if you watched it whenever they're driving to whenever this scene happens, it would not make any sense.
Yeah.
Like it was like, so he goes ahead. He's like the way you get the devils to come out is you have to like commit like
They like blood, and so he like cracks.
Chaos, right?
Yeah, he like cracks the bottle open and just like literally, it's crazy because it's like first person stabbing, like he's just running around like shaking people. Like
it is first person.
Yeah.
He's stabbing all these people, slitting their necks, and he's causing all this chaos.
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy because you wouldn't, you understand Akira is a good person because of his empathy and all that, and then all of a sudden Ryou is just like going nuts, going balls to the wall.
Like you would think he was going insane.
Yeah.
And then of course Akira tries to help him, and that's where we see Ryou and Akira getting their asses jumped.
Yeah.
Getting body just destroyed.
Yeah. And it's just kind of like the buildup of violence. So now they're both getting their ass kicked by like I guess the bodyguards or whatever.
Like just general people.
Yeah.
Which turn out to be devils. And I don't even think they really exposed that. That's how it ends. That first episode is
So the devil I guess all the chaos and the bloodshed, whoever was actually a devil that was in the party then becomes a devil.
Yeah.
So basically like I don't even know how many, like dozens dozens of devils just revive, and then they're just murdering everyone at the party. Yeah. And it turns out that Ryou set this all up so that he can turn Akira into a devil,
not just any devil either.
Yeah,
Amon,
yeah, however you want to say
this
it.
is like the ideal devil. This is the one.
I think it's like the most powerful.
Yeah, he has like a lore behind him, and he's definitely like one everyone recognizes.
Yeah.
So and that's kind of how it ends. The first.
Yeah, it ends. He's filming them.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, he's filming them. He tells them I'm filming to see so I can show the world.
So he can expose the fact that
there's
devils. Yeah.
And and then we get into episode 2, and this is where I really didn't like it.
For you, this is where you didn't like it?
Yeah, this is where I didn't like. Episode 2 leads into something that I didn't like. So, we had one episode explaining Akira being this weak crybaby. In the next episode, he comes back and
Oh yeah.
he's like he like grew like 5 inches. He's like solid muscle. He has a huge bulge. He's like they mention it.
Yeah, they do.
He's like
right.
super fast. He eats like a god.
He also has got like eyeshadow on.
Yeah, he put on eyeshadow. He changed totally 180 changed up his looks. So he does all this stuff, and now he's the best track star there, and that's where we're at right now. And
I actually kind of liked that though.
see, but it doesn't make sense. Like if I came in looking like a totally different person, and I was like, yeah, I'm Steve, like you wouldn't accept it. But maybe that's that what'd you call it when you believe of something that
suspension of disbelief.
Maybe it's that.
I don't know. It kind of reminded me of kind of like Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, where he's just like a nerd, and then he gets his powers and shit, and he's just like, he knows he's a badass, and now he's in school just being a badass. It kind of reminded me of that.
Okay, I guess I could see that. Even though in like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, he didn't really change. He just like
takes off his glasses or whatever. Yeah,
totally different person. Who's this guy?
No, it's anime, so no, he's you're right. He's like buff now. Yeah, grows 5 inches. I guess I could see that kind of drawing. I guess I didn't really like his character where he's just kind of like mopey and subservient or whatever. I kind of like to see him. Yeah, I liked that aspect of it.
Yeah, he was a badass. But we don't even know what he did at the party at this point.
Yeah, well, he also doesn't know either. He's got like memory loss.
Drugs.
Yeah.
So we don't even know, and that's whenever Ryou reveals what happened. He turned into a devil, and it shows the whole. And we go back to that night,
which is actually kind of interesting because like he's like, I don't remember, and then like Ryou's like sitting on his bed like watching the laptop of like him in devil form like murdering all the other devils.
Oh,
like,
when he walks in.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of interesting, and he's just like doesn't ever tell him anything. Like Ryou knows, but he's out of the loop, and he's not bothering to tell him that he knows what happened. Just kind of interesting. He's just like, hey, you want some food? And yeah, I mean, I kind of didn't like the whole Dragon Ball Z Goku. Oh, look how much I can eat. That was a little unneeded.
I didn't catch that. I mean, I didn't think of that. I mean, I thought it was like he's a beast now. He's burning. He needs more.
Yeah, I guess that is what they're going for.
But yeah, and that's whenever we kind of get where they have this new mission, this new objective to use. But you think that Ryou planned all of it? Like when I say planned, I mean not just getting him to come out as Amon, but drugging him, waiting till he hits a certain age.
Probably. Oh yeah, for sure. Yes.
Like he all of this was like orchestrated to the exact T of Ryou's wishes.
Yeah, well, I think it's revealed more towards the end of it that he's more the mastermind. It's kind of open ended at this point in the anime. To me, I still kind of see Ryou as like, what is it like? Chaotic good. He's on the side of good, even though he was in there shanking people in the party. Like he's doing it for the greater good.
Yeah, it's like anti-hero. He's not a hero, but I mean, it's like when you're doing.
He's making the heavy decisions that it's okay to murder a few people at a party to reveal to the world that there's devils. Like that's kind of how I'm interpreting his character right now.
Yeah, and I can see it being that way. It's all for the greater good.
Yeah.
But it's in all for the greater good in Ryou's perspective.
Yeah, well, definitely his perspective.
Yeah, I guess because we're telling the story, he's watching it from. But like, it's like, is it the greater good? And he reveals some big themes coming along. So really, episode 2 and 3 and all, and it's starting to it's kind of like a slice of life where one of the persons has like superpowers and now is like slaughtering people.
Yeah.
And then I think episode 3 is where we get into a little bit more of Miki.
Yeah, Miki. This is Miki, which I'm actually really surprised by how they ended up portraying Miki. Like I thought they would have just kept her being like kind of innocent. Instead, they kind of use her as like a, it's like that theme of like lust and like.
Well, she was like inherently good. And she even though like they had scenes of like her naked and things like her doing these.
Well, see, I was actually really surprised by her being naked. I didn't think they would do that, But I guess along with the theme. So episode 3 it has Miki. So there's like this paparazzi guy. We named him earlier.
Nagaraski or something.
Yeah,
I called him Pervy.
Yeah, you called him Pervy.
Yeah,
he's been calling her and wants her to take bikini pictures, right? And like his editor is like pressuring him. Like all I care is to like see her naked, like do that. So I forget what he tells her. He gives her like an ultimatum, like basically saying like, I got something great for you, like come to the studio.
Because we're skipping a scene. We're skipping one scene where the Ryou and Akira go to this like alleyway.
Oh yeah,
to kill these demons.
Okay, yes.
And where the paparazzi guy he's trying to film these these devils, and he's filming it, and he gets outed and gets away.
He actually okay, so like he's like investigating a murder. Is it the same paparazzi guy, right?
Yeah, it's the same one.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
again,
like
and that's one of those things where we're talking about the characters.
yes, yeah.
Where we're losing sight. It's like
Yeah.
this. How coincidental
Yeah.
that it's the pervy guy, but also he's like hard ass editor
Yeah.
or videographer trying to get the good scoop. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is one of those parts
Yeah.
where it was like how coincidental.
He's like looking for those the Black Sabbath parties, right? And so like he's like looking at like the number of murders happening in like an area, and he like pinpoints this area, and he's like watching this empty parking lot, and it's like revealed that like there's some devils there that are like basically murdering people.
Yeah.
And he's there to videotape them, and that's when Ryou and Akira like show up, and as like the Devilman, which is Akira, he sees him murdering the humans, and he turns into the devil himself and kills the demons. Well, he's the paparazzi guy's got it on camera, right? And so you're right, I did skip a lot. So then he's got the footage, right? And then Ryou's like, that guy's got like he saw you transform. He's got the video. Like we need to track him down. And it's the same pervy dude talking to Miko.
Yeah, just
right?
coincidentally.
Yeah.
And also he tells his editor like he tells his editor, and he's like, I got this great footage of this devil, and it's revealed that it's
and he shows him the footage, and the guy's just like, well, where are my bikini photos of Miki? Yeah. And then that's when it reveals, like, as he's like, oh, well, what am I gonna do? So then he like calls Miki and then tells her his spiel about come to the studio. I got one last time, like this is the last thing I'll ask you for.
I got a great story for you. But also the editor turns out to be a devil.
Turns out to be a devil, which is why he didn't care about it. And then that's when he goes and like possesses the paparazzi dude.
I don't know if it's exactly him, but it's like a water devil that like, possesses him and like turns him and basically now is like controlling him.
Yeah.
So and that's where we get Miki like doing this real. I don't know if it's being like naive or what. She's like, it's so wet outside.
She wanted to like this is how I took it. She wanted to like prove herself as like being capable of making these kinds of decisions. Like she didn't like the fact that people were dissuading her, and she kind of knew better, but was just like, I'm ready to make my own decisions, and decides to go to the editor's house, even though like to me she knows what he wants.
Yeah, like she want like, but she immediately like, it's wet, I'm gonna go take a bath.
Yeah.
In his house. Like that to me was like, there's a lot of like red flags on that already. Like and he goes and does it, and it turns out that the wall's like a double mirror.
Yeah, it's like a double mirror. And so he's like, here you go, and then they're taking pictures. Which like I said, I was really surprised they did this. They show Miki naked, which is like, of course there's lots of titties and ass and like prostitutes, or I don't even know if they're prostitutes. They're just girls being degenerate.
Yeah. And
at the parties and stuff like that.
Well,
men as well. Yeah.
And that's a really heavy theme. It's like about like debauchery and like hedonism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's like heavy themes with that them about doing what you feel like is pleasurable to you.
Yeah.
Only you, no matter what. Like just ignoring like the and that's kind of that's also a good divide between the devils and humans. Humans wouldn't act on just openly like having sex with
the base instincts, nature.
But the devils would.
Yeah.
So and that's what brings them out even more. But so she's in there taking a shower, and then she actually does get possessed.
Yeah, she gets possessed. So like the water demon leaves the main dude, the paparazzi guy, and then they goes underneath the door into the bathroom where she's taking a bath, and then possesses her. And that's the moment when Ryou and Akira arrive, and
this is getting good now. Yeah, Ryou and Akira show up, and they have this battle with her, and she's possessed.
Oh well, before that, Ryou like they like Ryou's like just has all the answers. He's like the playboy. He's like the hacker. He's like the rich dude. Yeah, he has all the insights. They go to like the paparazzi dude's mom's house and like figure out. They like break down the door and like threaten her, and then
it's so funny. Right. I can't believe he breaks in. He basically like forces his way in. Akira's like, oh, I'll take my shoes off. They go upstairs. He deletes all the footage and like basically deletes like the hard drive. And he's like, I wouldn't use your son's computer. And like he basically grabs like money as he's walking out. He's like,
like a fat stack. Yeah, like
in her face, and just like walks out.
Yeah.
And there's something happens with that as well later on, but we'll cover that. But we go back to the house now, and it turns out that like Miki's been taken over. Akira and him have this little battle where he basically kisses her, which was really nice. Sucks out this water devil, and then he's able to like fight it 1-on-1. Takes Akira back, takes Miki back to the Playboy's house, or the photographer's house,
Mhm.
who's dead.
Yeah, well,
And
no, he's not dead yet. He like saves Miki, brings her back to like where Rio is,
yeah.
and Rio's like asks, have you ever did you ever tell anyone else
Oh yeah, yeah.
about the devils? Did you show anyone else this footage? And he's like, no, I promise. And he executes him.
In front of Ryu.
Yeah,
In front of Akira.
in front of Akira, right? And so this is also showing Rio's like kind of evil side because like Akira's holding Miki, like he just rescued her, like she's unconscious, and they go into this weird thing where like he's trying to like Rio is pointing the gun at Miki, and they're going into this whole thing about like Rio's telling him like who do you love more, me or her, kind of thing.
And then that's when they're butting heads. They start leaking from their
Yeah,
foreheads.
yeah.
And yeah, this is so cool, by the way. This is a good scene
Mhm.
because it's showing Akira, Rio is like not will like is willing to just execute at point blank range.
Yeah, it's still showing like his like he's looking more and more evil as the plot progresses, but it's still like he says he's doing it for Akira's sake, right?
Yeah, this is all for you. We want to make sure they don't out
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Things like that. And Miki could out you anytime. Like we
Yeah.
gotta, and then of course they don't out her, and
Yeah.
they just let it go.
He decides not to try to kill Miki,
Yeah,
which would have been interesting if he had tried to.
I don't think the story could progress.
Yeah, it wouldn't have.
Because it would just be like, I mean, how could like really? That's like the love
That would have
interest.
been the split between the two.
It would have been cool though. I mean, they could have like done some kind of spin off there. Like now there's like verses because later on that comes back to be like the theme. Not the theme, but like they become true enemies later on.
But what's crazy about it to me is that like Akira still doesn't question Rio's motives. Like he's still like basically brothers with one another. Like every time they see him, they see each other, they hug, they embrace.
Yeah, I mentioned that,
yeah. They got that what'd you call it, like the lovers embrace?
Oh yeah, lovers embrace. They just like it's like they're exploring like we don't really know much about like Rio's like who if he's into like men or women or anything like that. Doesn't explore that. Even though he's rich, powerful, and he has like he could have all the women he want, but he still like does this lover embrace for Akira. And they have so many intimate moments throughout the show.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They constantly have intimate moments, and the hugs are not the only thing. The riding the motorcycle, all of it is so intimate with them too. Like laying down next to each other, going. He's feeding him. Like there's so much like things that they're doing that's like more than just like two friends. We don't do that much. So there's so much that goes into that, but we get to this right. He never questions his motive. He just allows them to just be Ryu and just assassinate and do the things that he thinks Rio is just like doing it for like a good purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, chaotic good. He's over there doing ridiculous shit, kicking old grandma's houses, and and planting bombs in there. Yeah,
apparently planting bombs. She did listen to him. She went up there. She's like, I don't know anything about that computer. And then she goes and enters that password and
blows her up.
And then we're starting to get introduced to two other new characters that are kind of slowly popping.
This is like that's into like episode 3 now. We're getting into like episode 4 now.
What's the title? What's the title?
Episode 4 is called "Come Akira."
Okay.
And that's whenever it's called that because that's when Akira's mom calls him. But but the beginning of that episode is they're talking about her name's Miko, right? I don't know. See, I went over this a bunch with him. Like, is her name Miko? Anyways, it turns out that it's like the same track rivalry between Mika and this girl named. Her name's also Mika, but people just call her Miko, and so she's like upset about that.
And we don't even know that. Like, we don't even know. Everyone just calls her Miko.
Yeah,
Miko, and then there's even scenes where like. They're like, wow, Miki, you've gotten so fast. They're referring to Miku. Yeah. But she's like, oh, I'm going to be the best. And then Miki, the one that the main character, Miki, who is going to be in almost every episode, is, faster than her no matter what.
One of the things I feel like we've overlooked is there's a heavy theme on the Forerunner relay. Like, that's always coming back. Even in episode 1, like Miki was like, I want to do the Forerunner relay. Like, I want to say, this Miko is also part of it, where they're passing the baton, and it always like references back to that.
They did this reference on like episode 7, and they also do it like 100 times in episode 10. Yeah, the referencing of the 4x4 relay, which is really interesting. I'm glad they did that because it did have a point to play about like handing the baton off and things like that, and one person in particular does not accept the baton and lets it drop. And that character obviously will cover in the very end, but that was an overlapping thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I get right. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, we missed over that when I was, reminded me whenever I was talking about Miko.
Yeah. So Miko again, we don't even know her name is Miki or Miko. We think it's Miko up to this point.
Yeah.
But the beginning of this episode, we actually get to introduce two new characters, Celine
yeah.
and Kayam.
See, I don't know.
Kayam's the one of the like Kazuya from Tekken.
Oh yeah. Kayam.
And he's
yeah,
like kind of
right,
like he's like the henchman, the bodyguard to Celine, and Celine is like the love interest of Amon, who is the devil that possesses or is merged with Akira.
Yeah.
So Celine is just like.
And it's like revealed that they're just trying to like reunite the two. Like Celine wants to be reunited with Amon, and they're trying to find each other. And Kayam's the
for a very romantic plow sesh. That's what's happening there. Yeah, and so now we can get into the parents, right? This is you talked about this a lot.
So we skipped over it. So like Miko is like watering the flowers over and over again, and then one of the delinquents is like Kun. Yeah, he's like infatuated with her, and he like confesses to her, and they decided to go off to. He's like, hey, I know this like cool party. You want to go?
Well, I think she's the one that initiated.
Oh, is that what it is?
Because she said that Akira or someone went to that same party and was way faster when they came back.
Yeah.
So I think I'm not sure if it was referring to Akira, but she says that she's the one that invited Kun to that party.
Okay.
After he confessed her love, and then we find out that actually her name is Miki by her grandmother, who was like yelling Miki, Miki.
Yeah.
And again, that was confusing for a while too, because I was like, Miki's not even there. Like, but she's referring to Miku, who is that the one that's like the rival. And they go to that party, and then it ends. But I think so it ends, and this is what really pissed me off.
Yeah.
I felt like we skipped an episode.
They go to the party, and then after that is the second half of it. Like the first half is like him confessing to Miki, and then like they're like, we're gonna go to this party, and then the second half is like Akira's mom calls him and is like, hey, like I'm gonna be arriving at the airport, like come get me.
Yeah, come visit me actually.
Yeah,
because she
the episode's called "Come Akira."
Yeah. And this gets really out there.
And it was weird because like Ryou knows like something's up. He's like warning Ryou's warning Akira like you shouldn't be trusting humans. Like you're a devil. Like everyone's out to get you.
Yeah, he's like giving them don't give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, and it's like again like we were talking about earlier. Like does Ryou know? Like is he like the person moving like all the blocks behind the scenes? Like does he know? And it's to me like in retrospect he is like he knows what's going to happen.
He knew, and I feel like he also not only knew but aided with this. So the scene is that they're on the bus together. Akiku's it's Akira's mom. I don't know her name.
Yeah,
and she's on the bus, and there's a devil on there.
It's actually they're. I don't know. They were on a plane, and then I think they get on a bus. Yeah,
well,
you're right.
So she calls them, and then she has to hang up.
Yeah.
The attendant makes him hang up.
Yeah.
And it's like, come Akira, and he comes to the airport.
Yeah.
And then I guess she lands, or she's getting off the plane.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. Then they're on like a bus or something.
Yeah, a shuttle to take them to like the main gate, and that's whenever there's a devil on there. Now again, it's not explained, but where it's implied that it's the father.
Yeah.
And I think later on it is decided that it is the father killing.
No, they do reveal that it is actually the father, and he's like
possessed by another devil.
Yeah, he's possessed by a devil, and he's doing like this thing where he's like assimilating people, like like he's like pulling their faces into like himself. And so whenever Akira arrives, he's like talking to his mom for a little bit, but you can't tell that she's part of the devil. Like she's like telling her
like in the shadows.
Yeah, she's like telling Akira like how much she loves him, and it's me like.
Well, she says that, and then she says something like, "Kill, like go run away or get away."
Yeah.
She starts warning him, and that's when it's revealed that she's like a head. And you're right. I do think they get in this fight between them two, but who was already ready for the fight? Ryou was already ready. Not only with the gun, I believe he had a camera too.
Yeah, he was there to film it. Yeah.
So I understand maybe this guy carries the camera just in case. But like, how convenient, right? He had the camera on him. He had like the Mac 10. He was already strapped at an airport.
Yeah.
So that's also maybe he did plan it. But we do get this fight between them, and it's really sad.
Yeah,
It's pretty
yeah.
sad.
Akira is forced to kill both of his parents at once. His
Yeah.
mom, who's like coherent, and his dad, who's like lost his soul and is basically a devil. Even though like his mom is like still calling her like my lover, like my dear, like talking to the dad, like don't do this or whatever. So yeah, he's forced to kill both of his parents at once.
Yeah, but it also like brings up a point. It's like these two maybe feel like some sort of guilt. Maybe like why is one becoming a devil?
Yeah, to me that was one of the things that I kind of didn't like, and to me this is where like it goes off the rails. Like it's got like a cool like steady like plot progression, and then like right after this episode, he killed his parents, and now like everything just kind of goes off the rails.
It goes to shit really quick.
Yeah,
he kills his parents. After doing this whole scene, he kills them, and then and really, it after the death of his parents, he murders them. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It goes. I think it ends right. Next episode, it starts off, and they're eating breakfast.
They're eating breakfast with his
pseudo family.
Yeah, his pseudo family, which is Mika, the little kid named
Toro, and then Kiku and Noel.
Yeah,
their names.
Yeah.
I know that one. Yeah, I know that one because they have interesting stories as what it follows. But they end up doing this where he's like, oh, your parents bought you new shoes. Maybe that's why you're running so fast. Don't let them spoil you. And he's not acknowledging it.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not sure if he starts crying then, but he's crying.
I believe he cries at like the dinner table.
And so we get to get this scene where he's like, now and now that's kind of where we start off with a couple things in episode. What are we 5 right now? Episode 5.
Episode 5.
Yeah, we get to see one Miku, who's now come with a totally new look.
Yeah.
And she was running like a monster.
Yeah. Oh, so that's one thing we missed too. Like episode 1, Akira becomes like the devil, and then episode 2, when he's running track, he's like running like on all fours, like almost like a monster, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's on four, but it's like they're reaching forward and they're like pulling back, but they're like almost like leaning forward. Like, it's super like animal like.
Yeah, very, very. And then here comes the scene where the episode ended. Well, the previous episode alluded to them going to this the Black Sabbath party, and then here she is. She's like dreaded out, right? Like her looks are also different, and she's breaking records, like running the exact same way as Akira.
Yeah, so. And that's what pissed me off, and this is why I didn't rate it a perfect score. The fuck happened to Kun?
Yeah, I don't know either. I was super confused about that too.
Yeah, we didn't even know that he died.
Yeah, he's dead.
There's an implication that he dies. I don't know if Netflix decided to do that. By the way, this is a Netflix original.
Yeah.
They brought this back, and good for Netflix. But we don't know. Maybe they took that episode out because I remember watching it the first time, watching him not live. Now I don't understand what happened. Maybe there's a scene we missed.
They had like a scene where they were having like gay sex, like him with another dude.
No. See, that's Coda.
See, yeah, and I was getting really confused
because they have the same
two.
hairstyle.
Yes.
So we have Coda, who's now starting to. Well, yeah, I guess we can. It's around the same scene.
Yeah. See, to me, Coda. See, I couldn't tell if Coda and Kun and Miko were all at the same party, and then all that happened, or if it was like a separate event.
Well, it's implied that Coda was there. I guess there, and that's where Junichi, who was the lover of Coda, ends up dying, and I'm assuming from aggressive sex.
Yeah,
because he keeps having nightmares.
Yeah, and that's one of the themes that they do. They were saying like there's two things that the demons can't like control, and it's like their lust for violence and their lust for like sex and debauchery or whatever.
Yeah, they love it. They love this. It's like all sex with them. Yeah. And that's so you're right. So it was hard to like pinpoint who was who. So we get a couple of very extremely important scenes in here. One, we get a scene with her coming back, Miku, who's now like running really fast, and then we get a scene with the rappers, whose name is like Gabby. What's the other one? Ram or something. It's like it's Woomy. Yeah, I think it's Woomy.
Let's see.
And these rappers that really started off from the beginning, like cornering and pressuring Miki, see their friend and they go attack him, which they're looking for Kun.
Yeah.
And this one guy, this one rapper, goes up and says, "Kun, is that you?" And it's not Kun. Who is it?
It's Coda.
Yeah, no, it's not Coda.
Oh,
it's just a random dude, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And he says, he goes, "They're stealing." and then the cops get involved, and that's when Miki, the track star, saves them and stops them from getting like harassed by the cops because they weren't really stealing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get that very. So and they're gonna come back later, which is why it's important to mention that Miki does save them from the cops, and now she's kind of like favorable and what's did you find his name?
No, it says Hey is one of them. Hey is
But
one of them. Babo maybe. Whamu.
Wamu is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
guy, yeah.
yeah.
Wamu is the guy that like is now kind of protecting Miki, kind of like that guardian for Miki.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, now that we got that, we have one more important scene we got to talk about. That is the what is the title of the episode called?
It's called Beautiful Celine. So that's
So,
whenever
Celine.
like you've only seen her in the human form up to this point.
Yeah.
And she's, reveals herself to be one of like the more powerful devils who's supposed to be like the lover of Amon. Yeah.
Which is Akira.
Yeah, which is Akira.
Yeah. And we get to see like Akira just really fighting off these sexual urges.
Yeah.
He's having the hardest time and Celine, who's also super horned up, like horny, super just like wants to just like plow Amon, like just like lusting for him. So we get Kira, who's like basically like
frothing at the
like drooling all over Miki, like seeing through her clothes. Yeah, he's just so horny for her, and he doesn't act on him. Thank God.
Yeah, he is basically saying his human heart is overcoming the devil instincts of just like lust and.
Yeah, and then we get a pretty funny scene. He has like a wet dream. He like Randy Marshes the top of the ceiling. It's just everywhere, like just dripping, and he's like holding his nose. Yeah. And then and we get a scene where he goes in. I think this is also the scene where he basically feeds Ryou like a bread or something.
Oh yeah,
and then he goes like, "You have this pool and you don't use it. Come on, we're going swimming."
Oh yeah, then he drags him into the pool and gets him all wet.
And the next scene, they're like all drying off, and then he's like telling himself like, "Control your urges," and he like throws money at him to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And he takes this money and he goes to like, I don't know, slut alley, prostitute place, or I guess sex worker alley, and guess who he runs into? Good old Celine.
Yep, she's there.
She's there, and they have a pretty. This is a really cool scene, by the way. I'm not sure if you remember the scene. Is like they're plowing, and she tries to kill him, and he basically goes, "I didn't want to have sex. I wanted to murder you." Like he just wanted to kill. He didn't want to have sex. He was like, the temptation wasn't the sex. It was that he wanted to kill her.
Yeah.
And that's when we get a nice little battle with them too.
Yeah, and then they fight.
Yeah, they have a fight and they have a lover's quarrel.
Does he end up killing Celine at the end of that?
So Celine, actually, he ends up beating Celine pretty much till she dies, and she realizes she can't beat him, and that's when Kayam
they like merge.
They merge, and this is really important because they merge, and they have like one big attack on him, and he's like lying on the floor dying, and he just like, she's gonna kill me, and he passes out. Ryou wakes him up, and he says, "Did she kill me? Why'd she run away?" And he goes, "Oh, she's dead." And he takes him out, and that's when they're like solidified together. Kayam and Celine are like one, like a statue.
Yeah.
And that's when he realizes that devils can love.
Yeah.
So he didn't understand that. He thought devils didn't have a heart, and he finds out that there are other devilmans out there.
Yeah. Yeah. That you're right. That is a huge plot point.
He didn't know they can love, and he asks him, he's like, "Do you think devils can love?" And he says something about their hearts being like not great or something. They don't have human hearts, so they can never love.
Yeah.
So that's where that kind of, I'm not sure if that ends it or begins the next episode. But
I want to say that's probably the end of it. Yeah.
It's a really good episode. Yeah. I mean, other than all like it's like a sex-filled episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. And then now we can like really just dive into like what happens.
Yeah.
It's
so the next episode's called Neither Demon Nor Human, and so this is whenever it's like they're at the track meet.
Yep.
Right? And see, and I always thought it was Coda, but it's not Coda. You had to keep correcting me on that.
The Coda is the one that runs.
Coda, okay. Kun is not Coda. That's where I was fucking up the entire time.
Kun is the rapper that apparently that died in like a few episodes ago. Coda now has been kind of on the spec. It's been on the it's been in front of like the camera, and Ryou has been basically scouting him.
Yeah.
So in honor of him, to honor this amazing track star that is the devil. He knows it.
Mhm.
By the way, Coda also is the one that killed his his lover Junichi
Yeah.
during sex.
Mhm.
Apparently, they don't really touch base on that, but
Yeah.
it's implied because he's having nightmares.
Heavily implied. Yeah.
Yeah. So he orchestrates his whole track meet to honor Coda and have the best track stars there, and
Mhm.
and it has and it's going to televise the whole event. He's a commentator as well.
Yeah.
But he knows that he's a devil, and he uses a serum to trigger it.
Yes.
So
yeah.
he tries it on Akira first in like a small batch.
Yeah.
Where he gives it to Akira, and
It's like in like water form, right? Like his water bottle, he drinks it.
Yeah. He gives it like it's like, hey, this this great event. Try my water. It's sponsor it. It's this water, and he has that chemical in them. He gives it to Akira in the beginning of the episode, and he puts on I think he just puts on like videos of the actual like attack on the Black Sabbath party.
I think it is, yeah.
And then Akira just like loses it. He punches the wall, and Ryou is like already like protected. And that's when we get they're trying to basically get Coda to get out of his human form.
Yeah, they're exposing him. Yeah, they're exposing him
in front of the whole world, so that way he can the devils can finally expose what they really are in Ryu's eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a really good scene. We get a couple other scenes where the first scene we get is where we find out that he did do something with Junichi from his teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't want you doing that. And then we get the scene where Akira walks up to him and is like crying. And he's like, I know you're in pain. Like, he's like with tears. And then we get a couple other good scenes where they show them like in the locker room with Miki and Miku, where they're talking about like they want to do a report on Miki, not Miku.
Yeah.
And she's like really upset about it.
Yeah.
And now we get in the track meet where it's, I guess it's globalized. It's like the whole world's watching.
Yeah, it's like live TV.
Yeah, and that's when we get into the very beginning of the track meet where they're running the 4x4.
Yeah, they're running the relay, the 4x4 relay, where they gotta pass the baton.
Yeah. And what happens, of course, Miku gets the baton and gives it to Miki before Miki can grab it. Akira grabs it and he's running next to Coda. Like, hey, you're gonna do this. He's basically trying to back out of it. He was supposed to give.
He's trying to tell him not to do it.
He was supposed to give the water to him, but he ends up not. But Ryou ends up giving him the water to him, and he gives him the water to do like an advertisement for him.
Mm-hmm.
So he.
Just leave him alone. He's
trying to push him down. No, I'm not gonna leave him alone. He's blocking me, not you. 1-0-2.
But yeah, I forgot about that. Like in the relay, like Akira jumps in front of the other person and grabs the baton and is running alongside Coda, right?
And basically telling him about the plan.
Yeah.
And this is where all shit goes loose.
Yeah.
They play the pornography all over the stadium in like holographic form, and that's where he loses it.
Yeah.
Which I don't get, like he lost it, but I know they didn't have the water either. But like Akira and what's the girl's name? Miku. They were cool.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Yeah.
He ends up slaughtering people. He gets away. Akira goes, I killed him, taking care of it, but he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now he's like protecting, and he basically found another Devilman.
Yeah, he finds another Devilman, which is like the main plot point of this.
Yeah, he finds another Devilman.
Yeah, and at the same time, like once all this is happening, like Ryou, is like broadcasting on live television. Like he's basically like the one person telling everyone like the dangers of Devilman. Like so, yeah, he's like on there doing like a worldwide broadcast as they're like streaming live at this track meet, and
he's the only one streaming.
Yeah.
All the other news outlets have like ended the entire broadcast because it's slaughter.
Yeah.
But Ryou is the only one filming.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we could probably just end this entire episode right now and have it at that. Because after this, it's like a whole nother anime.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a whole nother anime. We have now like hit the part. What episode was this? This is 6?
This is episode 7. Weak humans, wise demons. Yeah, Akira tries to save the other demon. No, you're right. It is episode 6. It's episode 6.
So episode 6 ends, and then So there's only 3 episodes left. 7, 8,
4.
Okay. Yeah.
7, 8, 9, 10.
Yes, 4. Yeah. So that's how math works. Yeah, there's 4 episodes left, and we get this now. Humans hate the devils.
Yeah.
There's a huge
Yeah.
distrust.
Like fear is like gripped the entire world. Like the humans have come to realize that the devils exist, and like there's like a huge like paranoia about the fact that anyone could be a devil. Um
Like your neighbor, like your friend. Yeah, like, and then they start outing like, oh, he was a devil the whole time. We didn't even know.
And this is where it starts to play the parallels of like I think we mentioned earlier like bigotry. It's like they're doing witch hunts.
Yeah, it's a
essentially.
Salem witch trial. Also a lot of like segregation and like like a lot of it really is like propaganda. Like it's this media that's just flooding them with like, hey, don't trust them, don't trust your neighbor. And Ryu is at the top of it, just spreading it. And we even get a funny clip of I know they don't say this, but we get a clip of the president of America. And who does he look like?
Trump.
He looks like Trump.
He looks exactly like him.
He's like Trump, like yelling at like
which is kind of funny because I mean the anime came out in 2018, so yeah.
So I wonder how they didn't get sued for likeness rights.
So it looks exactly like Trump.
Yeah, and I don't know like how far it spread. I'm assuming America was in on it, but now we have like where everything is like it's like a dystopia.
Not quite yet. It hasn't devolved that much. It's more like the Salem witch trials are happening. Akira's actually like trying to find Devilman like him, like devils with human hearts.
Yeah.
Right. That's like kind of the main theme of that episode. Like I said, like there's so much happening. It's hard for me to like remember. Like it goes from they're at a track meet and then the devils are exposed to like they have like there's like a scene. I want to say it's this episode where like they literally have people tied up on stakes, like it's humans, and they're like pelting with rocks.
That's a few episodes later. I think it's one episode later.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, because right now we haven't even got to the scene of the big scene, which is the scene of Taru, yeah. So Taru is...
Okay, you're right.
So we get this scene where like the mom is at the grocery store, and she's talking to her neighbor, her friend, and she's like, "Can you believe blah 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 was the devil the whole time?" And she was like, "No, I couldn't believe that at all." And then Taru has been watching this dog, and then the dog and him disappear, and then he just eats the dog.
Yeah.
And that's where Ikaru,
You're talking
the
about
mom,
Miki's. Okay.
Yeah, Miki's mom and Taru decide to run away, and then they leave like a note for Noel, her husband, to come looking for him. No.
See, I feel like episode 7 and episode 8 are kind of blending because
it's starting to blend. We just watched it.
Miki's father searches for his missing son and wife is the synopsis of
that's
episode 8.
The next episode. Yeah. But this is where he finds out, and he's like, "Hey, take care of my daughter," and that's when she invites like the rapper friends like are like protecting her because from a mob, and then we get kind of the while this is happening, Akira is trying to get to Ryu, and he's protecting Koda on the roof. And then Miku is also out there just kind of running amok and just kind of like, she has an interesting scene where like, she's like, there's a guy and like, hey, good looking. And he has like a knife behind his back. And like, she think like the next scene is like, either he lunges or she attacks him, but they end up doing like a plow sesh and then she bites his head off.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of showing that, and Miku was kind of like, obviously this guy had other intentions.
Mm-hmm.
But Miku was kind of also like indulging in what she wants to do.
Yeah.
That they go into that sense of hedonism.
Yeah.
So that's all happening in this episode. Yeah. And by the way, they think Koda is dead.
Yeah.
Ryu thinks Koda is dead.
Yeah.
Because he thinks that Akira killed him.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm not sure if the whole world thinks that, I'm assuming. But yeah, Koda is alive and he's just living on the roof and like running on the roof like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man reference. All right, now we can get to the next episode with the dad and the search party.
Yeah, this one's called "I Must Know Myself," and Miki's father is searching for his missing wife and son, which is So like the world's progressively like deteriorating, like chaos is like running rampant, like people are like afraid and scared. So like it's kind of building on that.
Yeah, and we also get kind of a interesting like. They have guns now. Like guns are like everywhere.
Yeah.
Like which is interesting is like because it's Japan.
Yeah.
But everyone has guns and they're like using them with really not like really not holding back at all.
Yeah.
Just like shooting people, and so the dad's out there, no gun in the beginning. He doesn't have a gun, and he's out there, and like there's like an old lady that's like freeze, and there while that's happening, there's a guy giving like a bunch of like biblical like prayers and things like
Mm-hmm.
that, and then like he ends up like aiming his gun at like him, and then like an old lady, and then, like they all do a shootout, and then he survives, takes a gun, and he's still looking for his son, and he finally finds him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, dude! I see. I was going through so much emotions during this because I forgot about the scene.
You forgot about it.
He opens up. He finds his mom, his wife, and his son. He opens up a tent. I think he's tracking them.
Mhm.
Not sure if it's. I think Ryou helps.
Yeah.
Ryou helps finding him. He finds them in the tent, and what are they doing? That sounds dirty, right? No. The Taru is eating his mom.
Yeah.
He's eating his mom, and I think the way he finds them is I think he has a watch that he recognizes, or he has like some memorabilia and he's now like he's going through this ambivalence. Like, do I kill my son? He killed my wife. He's a devil.
Yeah.
And he's also a religious man.
Yeah.
Like, and that kind of goes back to it. It's like they pray every night. They have like a
They
an
definitely
18-foot long,
they actually have they got the
Last
mural,
Supper,
the
yeah.
Last Supper. Yeah, they
that
do.
Last Supper. So
Yeah.
they're a praying family, and he's just like, it's like everything he's gone through, like all the prayers, and it meant nothing at this point. He's ambivalent. He wants to kill him, and he doesn't get the chance. He doesn't get the chance because, of course, the military shows up and says, like, get away from that tent. He's all, it's my son, and of course, like typical fashion, he gets blasted on.
Yeah.
And while this is happening, and now it's still going downhill. Like, this is just ramping up. Akira shows up, swoops in, grabs Toro, and tries to save him, but it's too late because he gets attacked by like a mob of devils.
Yeah.
And I don't know any of their names. They go in this epic fight. They're all fighting, and I think this is kind of where it's revealed that Koda betrays Akira. He sides with the devils.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's really quick too. It's not even like what is it, Caesar? It's not even like that. He like legitimately like backstabs him, and then it never comes back to play again.
Yeah.
So that to me that was just like really odd that they did that, but I'm glad they did that because I didn't like Koda at all.
Yeah, he was not.
He was not a likable character.
Yeah, he's not likable at all.
He could have never been in the show, and I'd be alright.
Yeah.
He could have just been like the plot device to like show that devil, like outing out a devil.
Which he was the plot device, but then they decided to keep him around.
Yeah, I didn't think they could. Kira should have killed him.
Yeah.
So he does backstab him, and now we can kind of get in these last two episodes, right?
The last 2 episodes. Now we're on episode 9, which is called "Go to Hell, Immortals."
Beautiful. Dude, this one has so much, bro.
Yeah, I liked this one.
Oh my god, this has so much into it. So now it's revealed that Akira is a devil, and it's revealed in a very odd way to where he is like, it's like an uncomfortable timing. He's there with Miku at Akira's house, and he just told Miki,
Miki.
that her parents are dead.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if he should have done that. we were talking about this, like what was like as a person, I understand, like he could have just said I didn't see them.
Yeah.
Which a lot of movies do that. I couldn't find them. Maybe they got away.
Yeah.
Give them that hope. Nope, they're dead.
Yeah.
All of them, they're dead. Sorry, you're the only one alive.
And she's actually very understanding about it.
Odd though, right?
Yeah.
It's like too quick. And the next thing we have them is they're in front of a TV, and that's where Ryou's like, Akira Fudou is a devil man.
Yeah. And it exposes them to the world, right? And like it does this dynamic where like Miki is like we were saying earlier, she's like famous, right? Like people follow her, and so now they're like portraying Akira as like an evil person, and so like Miki comes to like his aid through like social media.
Yeah, right? You're right, and it's like you said, like a lost prophet type deal, like where she is like Jesus. Yeah, she like gets the following. Yeah. To back the devil.
Oh, we were talking about that. Yeah.
Like she gets the followers to like follow and listen, and that's when a lot of Devilman.
Okay, I remember this conversation.
Hopefully, it was last night.
Yeah. No, I remember.
All the Devilmen start to come together, and which is really important because we don't find this out till later. But now, also while this is happening, Ryou is in Peru.
I don't know where the fuck he is. He's wherever he is.
He's in Peru. He's hanging out in Peru, having a good old time. Yeah. He's going back to where it all began for him, and while he's doing this, he fought. It's like the natives of the area are like calling him a name, and then he comes up, and there's like a little mini statue of him.
I thought this was like a flashback.
Well, they just show the statue, and then it cuts it,
Okay.
and that's where we don't know anything after that.
Yeah.
It cuts it, and we go back to Akira and where he's now like outed, and he's trying to save.
I think this is the scene that I was talking about earlier. Like they got all the people on crosses. Yeah. Basically they're pelting them, they're hitting them with rocks and stuff, and Akira's standing there in front of them, and that's when Miki is like texting like on Instagram or whatever you want to say.
Like whatever fake social media they have there.
She's like, the Devilman's a good person, like giving like a sob story about how he's not evil, and like the people, the angry mob that are throwing rocks are like, hold on, let me check my Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold up. Miki says he's all right, and then like a little kid runs up and like hugs him.
All right, so let's get a little backstory on this. There's a lot of scenes where they're just like trying to kill all the devils.
Yeah.
No matter what, they're just burning.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and Akira's trying to save them.
Yeah.
He's trying to get them to side with him, but even the devils aren't even listening to him.
Yeah.
He's like trying to save them, like, come with me, I'll help you, and he's like, I don't want to go with you, scum, and then they go out to die.
Yeah.
And they, like it shows that like he's trying to be the good guy here, but yet they're not.
Both sides don't want to.
Yeah, both sides don't want him at all. They don't want him to be part of it.
Yeah, the devils don't believe that he can be human. They expect him to be like, you're a devil. Like we're gonna kill all the humans, right? Yeah. Like, and
he's like, no. And then like the humans are like, you got to kill all the devils, and he's like, no. So he's like, so now we get back to the Salem witch trials where they have them all tied up, and they're throwing rocks and stones and sticks and just like yelling at them, calling them devils. And Akira comes and he's just there like, stop doing this, stop doing this.
Yeah, of course he's crying.
Of course he's crying and all this stuff. And yeah, while she's doing this, she is doing the social, but I don't think they see that. I don't think they see.
Well, they have to see it because like one of the kids decides that he's gonna go like hug Akira.
I don't think he was on his phone though. I think he was just watching Akira eat these rocks.
Okay, I guess.
And then he like runs up and hugs them, and then more and more do it. And then what did you said? It was kind of like the where there's like a line of them, like lining up to hug him.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Hard for me to remember exactly what we were talking about.
You said it was like when you go up and get bread from like a Catholic church.
Oh yes. It was like the scene for those of you who've ever been to church as a kid or whatever.
Or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever you believe in. We're not here to judge.
They're giving out the bread, like that's what they were doing. Like they're all lining up to hug him, and that's kind of the interpretation I got because there's heavy religious themes in this.
Yeah, and
I was trying to like play off of that.
I didn't like this scene, by the way. I did not like this whole hugging scene. It just seems so unrealistic to me.
It was pretty unrealistic. Yeah.
That will never happen. Like, because it's always gonna be like, like throw rocks first, ask questions later, until they're dead.
Yeah.
And so they all hug up, and while they're doing that, they're untying these people that are not devils.
Yeah.
They're not devils.
Yeah, all those people were normal human beings that they're pelting with rocks. And Akira, I guess convinces them otherwise by,
like just crying.
Yeah, by crying.
But then we get a kind of this final scene. So she sends out that mass text, and also we get a scene where they know where she is, and there's even like people writing in the chat, get her IP address, and they find out where she lives.
Yeah. So this is what I was talking about when I said that she like kind of like represents Jesus on the cross, right? Yeah. Like she's put herself out there. People are listening to her message, but like Jesus, she has to die because people have to repent. Like she has to die to forgive people's sins. So that's like where it goes. Like they basically chase her down. Like they're chasing her. I think a few devils help. The one chick,
Miku. They had like a heart to heart, and it was it was really nice. Like Miku like says, "I always hated you," and she goes, "I know," and then she goes, "But you were like my best friend or something." And she was like, "I know," and then she breaks down and cries and hugs.
Yeah,
and then she tries to help her get out while they're being attacked.
But, like she extends like Miko dies like as a spider. She's like a spider demon.
Well, fighting them. You're missing out on the attack on the house first.
Oh, you're right. I am.
So we get like she helps her get out of the house, and while that happens, like her rapper friends are in there like protecting the house, and they all die in this house except one. One of them gets away, and it's Wumi, whatever his name is.
Wamu.
Wamu gets away, but to help. Anyways, we're getting this scene where they're all like they're getting stabbed and things like that. And two of the rapper friends, who I don't even know, um, he turns around and is like, we gotta protect her, blah, blah, and then he stabs him in the heart with a knife. His friend with the bucket hat
Mm-hmm.
stabs him, and that's where we get the end of the house fight. And they're running off, and while they're running, she's like, Miku, who's also Miki, is
Mm-hmm.
like getting shot at, and she's like injured, and
Mm-hmm.
she goes, run, Miki, and Miki looks at her, and she does
The baton toss.
yeah.
Yes, it's doing the flashback of the four relay race that they
Yeah.
do.
She gets the last baton, and oh, by the way, the last thing that she says to Akira though, before Akira had to leave because they found out she didn't like he wanted to go find Ryou,
Mm-hmm.
was it was like, I promise to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the rapper friend, like when they break in, gives Miki, the main rapper friend, what's his name? Wamu gives Miki.
He's got the gold chain. That's all I remember.
Yeah, he gives her like a earring or whatever, an earbud.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever it is. It's supposed to protect you.
Yeah.
So she goes out there. Now we're getting the scene where Miku's getting shot at, and we get a really cool scene with Miku. It was kind of pointless, but it was kind of a cool scene.
Yeah.
Where she's getting shot at, and she gives the whole baton up. Miki runs. She's getting shot at, waiting there. She points a gun to her head while she's getting shot. She says her final point, and then she deletes herself.
Yeah.
Miki's running, and guess who she runs into? Wamu. And Wamu's like, well, she's like, Wamu, and then he opens the truck, and he just drops. He's dead.
Yeah.
She turns around,
and now she's trapped. Yeah.
And she gets knifed in the back.
She turns around the other way, and she is killed.
She gets knifed right in the back, stabbed, and that's the last we see of that group, Miki especially, until the end, where now the Devilman has just been attacked by Koda. Koda like goes, hey, can I get a hug or something, and attacks Akira, takes him off the map. They fight, of course, and he gets away because he comes back later.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes back to find Miki, and this is like the most. Oh man, it seems like when I watched this first time, I don't know if I cried, but I remember I was like flooded with emotions.
Yeah, I mean there is a lot of heartbreak when you think about this.
It's like Akira, who's been trying to protect humans, trying to protect devils, and he doesn't know who's good, what's right and wrong, because everything is just like it's like super gray, you know. He doesn't know, and he finally gets back to where Miki is, and all the people that attacked her are like dancing.
Yeah.
With like spears of their heads.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that scene. That was actually a really good.
And
scene.
What is the title of the episode called?
Go to hell, you mortals.
He says, "Go to hell, all you mortals," and kills all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes Mickey's head.
Yeah.
And that is where episode 9.
Episode 9 ends there. Yeah.
And now we get to this final episode, which is, I believe it's called Crybaby.
It's called Crybaby.
Yeah. So episode 10 is called Crybaby.
Which is actually a really apt name for the episode.
Yeah. Because as of right now, up all the way up to here, the Crybaby was the killer.
Yeah. So there's almost like a time skip, there's all this fear about the devils. People are having these witch hunts, but now like in episode 10, it's just like all cards are out on the table. Like there's nuclear winter happening. Like people, like countries are nuking each other. Like there's full blown war. Like nobody trusts each other.
Oh yeah.
Like they're killing. Yeah, they're killing everybody.
But we also get the story of Ryou.
Yes.
So as of right now, we knew Ryou found a statue of him as a little statue of him when he was when he went back to Peru, and it turns out his like housemaid who basically raised him was also a devil. Yeah. Which was super obvious. Yeah. She looked like shit, dude.
Yeah, no, yeah. What I forget her name.
Yeah. Oh, it was like Psycho Jenny.
Psycho Jenny, yeah.
Yeah, Psycho Jenny was her name. She was clearly a devil in a human form.
Yeah.
Well, he basically she explains about his entire past. And before we get to who he really is, it shows like where he was around before years.
Like he was back in the time of the dinosaurs. Like he lived in the dinosaur
Dinosaurs
times.
And devils lived around.
Yeah.
And it talks about this whole scene where well, I guess we should talk about, because he's telling this whole story to Akira. Akira's went to the place where they first met, which is where the same scene where the cat died. And it starts off with them talking as kids. And then it goes into what happens now, and he's holding Miki's head, and that's whenever it reveals who he really is.
Yeah. and he's Satan.
Yep.
He's Satan, which ties back into how I was saying, like, oh, this reminds me of like Jesus on the cross and like the giving of the bread during I can't even think of it right now.
Yeah, the bread and the blood of my body.
Yeah, like drinking the wine, eating the bread, the ash on the forehead type thing. Yeah.
It was super like Christianity vibes.
Yeah.
And he's legit playing like the begotten son of he's like the God, like
God cast him down to earth and
as a punishment.
Yeah, and he's like he's there in like prehistoric times.
Yeah, and we're not
with the devils, with the devils and the dinosaurs.
Yeah, living it up.
Yeah,
but we didn't even talk earlier in one of the episodes, and this is why this show is so. It's something that happened randomly that doesn't get explained till the end.
Mm-hmm.
There's like where the people that have the nuclear bombs are devils.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, this big boom of light just cast. It only kills devils. And it's huge. It's like a quarter of the earth.
Okay, I remember what you're talking about.
And they never discuss who did it. Yeah. We think it's nuclear wars. We think it's like, devils. We don't know anything about this. Because we know nothing of God.
Yeah.
So we get this last kind of, he explains that light was God, like protecting the humans and trying to stop what he's doing.
Yeah.
His act as being like the Satan. So it goes in the prehistoric time whenever he was on the planet Earth in prehistoric time.
And it alludes to like why the dinosaurs were extinct, because it was God casting down to destroy the devils, and it just kind of eliminated all life on Earth.
And then I guess he survived, stayed there as a baby. He just lived out.
He's like reborn or something.
Yeah, he's reborn.
Yeah. He has no memory of being Satan.
Yeah, and he's like in this Peru, and then like the military comes and like he basically like. I don't think he's saved. I think he like kills all of them.
It's like the government knows that he's Satan. He doesn't know, and he's like, as like a natural instinct, he's murdering all the military. Like they're shooting rockets at him and shit like that. Yeah, like trying to kill him, and then he's like,
he has this like force field around him.
Yeah,
and then he ends up floats in the water, ends up on this pier, and that's where he meets
Akira.
His like first friend, first like actual human that he's ever really got to know. That's other than the people of the wherever he was like found, and he meets him, and Akira's just so nice. And whatever the scene is, he opens up, "Hi, I'm Akira." Whatever the scene is, it is the opening scene to the entire show.
Yeah, that's the opening scene.
Yeah, and it's them as kids. It talks about the story with him having the box cutter trying him to kill the cat, and it goes back to that scene where he says like, "You're crying too." Actually, that might get brought up later. I'm skipping a scene. So that happens, and this is all an episode.
Yeah,
this is
all
26 minutes.
Yes.
Of episode right now we're getting to.
Yeah.
He does this. It's so much in one episode. It's so good though. And now he tells him the story, and he's like, I'm Satan. He pulls back, and he has like what 12 wings.
He's got 12 wings. Yeah.
He has boobs.
Yeah, he's got boobs now. He's
he is like male and female.
Yeah.
So he's like both
androgynous. I don't know.
I don't know the term for it, but I mean I'm sure there's a term for it. But he's both sexes.
Yeah.
And he's just out there now. He has all the devils backing him. Like, should we kill him? He's like, let him go. And he goes back, and because of
we're talking about Akira, right?
Oh, both of them. The devils say like, do we go after him? He goes, let's just wait. And then Akira goes back, and he meets up with the Devilmans, and they've all kind of gathered.
Yeah. Oh, okay, you're right. So we're like halfway through episode.
Yeah, we're not even at the. Now you can talk about all the battles that were happening with the humans.
Yeah. So like they're like there's like basically a nuclear war, like World War III is going on. Every single nation against each other. No one trusts each other. Like it's just like battleships like getting hit with nukes. Like all the people on the ground like fighting each other. Like just mass war. And then like it kind of like slowly builds up to like where is it Ryou as Satan attacks the Devilmans? Or is it the other way around?
The Devilmans attack. They go after Ryou.
Okay, that's.
But I mean, they were going toward each other.
Yeah.
One of the scenes that like got to me was it's the scene is I believe it's Psycho Jenny says.
Psycho Jenny. Yeah.
He says or she says, that was the last human.
They killed all the last.
He said this is the last human that we've killed.
Mm-hmm.
We just did it right now. Like the way they say it, like hits differently. It's like. Like all of them are dead.
Yeah.
They knew it. I'm sure they had a way of knowing it
too.
So we don't even know how long this war's been.
Yeah.
For us, it's been 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So we get in the scene. Now they go in a fight, and it just so happens the first opponent Akira fights.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another reason why I didn't like it. The fight's really hard to watch. It's so dark.
Oh yeah. See, and again, I don't know if that's them saving on budget or being aesthetic. It's
Yeah.
probably a mix of the two.
Yeah, it was just so hard to watch. Like I couldn't tell, because all you see is like eyes.
Yeah.
You know it's him because he has his face
Yeah.
and he has bullhorns,
Yeah.
and then all you see is Akira go through him and split him in half.
Yeah.
And then that's whenever Akira and Ryu had this final fight. It's a pretty good fight.
Yeah, it was a good fight.
Yeah.
So like
It's quick though.
in this final fight, like Rio and Akira are fighting, and like Rio's like cutting Akira in half, and then like all the Devilmen that are with him are like merging with him, like, oh, you cut your arm off, I'll be your new arm.
Yeah.
Like I'll be your new legs, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like this epic battle that they're going through.
They did this because you can merge with the other Devilmen.
Yeah, and they alluded to that
with Cam and Silent.
Selena, or Silent, whatever.
It looks like Silence.
Celine. I
It
think
looks like
is her name.
Silence, so it's without the C. So I always say Silent. Celine, yeah. So they alluded to that, yeah. Then and they keep doing that, and this fight's not long. It's like a minute.
Yeah.
And oh man, dude, I don't even know. Dude. I'm like I've watched this first time. I don't know if I was drunk or if I was like in a bad spot. But I watched this episode, the scenes, and like we are now kind of at the final scene.
Yeah, this is it.
The Devilmans have all eliminated each other. There's only 2 left.
Mm-hmm.
It's Akira and Ryu, like it should be.
Yeah, and Ryu is Satan at this point. He calls himself Satan. He's transformed.
Yeah. He's aware of it. He looks badass.
Yeah.
He has longer hair. He doesn't have that like.
I liked the design of him.
He looked really cool. And he does this final thing where like he throws something through Akira, and now it's like a big flash, and it's like Neon Genesis vibe. The whole planet is covered in like red liquid, red blood. Yeah. And they're laying on like a rock. Them two, very
I want to say the when you're saying like the planet's covered in red liquid, it's a scene from like the opening of episode 1. Like they're like pelting Earth or whatever to turn it into like a magma rock. Like that's almost what's happening.
Oh well, see that happens after the story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's kind of like where it like it like zooms back and shows that.
Yeah.
So God obviously doesn't know of Akira's or of Rio's plan so far. Like he's doing it so methodically where God hasn't caught on yet, and then God's gonna catch on. But the scene is like a monologue between Akira and Ryu.
Yeah.
Where Ryu is talking the whole time.
Yeah.
And Ryu is just like he's telling him the stars look so beautiful without like all the lights.
Oh yeah, without all the lights from.
Yeah, there's no lights, there's no humans, and you can see all the stars like they're meant to see. He's telling him all this stuff. He's like, you're right about this and that, and he's just monologuing, right? And then he gets in the scene. He's like, he gets up and leans in, and he looks at Akira and he says, "Why aren't you talking?
Yeah.
Why aren't you talking to me?" And then it like zooms out. Did you know this, by the way? It zooms out, and his body is half his body's gone.
Yeah, he's cut in half.
He's dead.
Yeah.
He's been dead the whole time.
Yeah, he's been dead the whole time while Ryu is like
monologuing.
Yeah.
So did you know that?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But did you know that prior to him talking?
No, I did not.
It was. I didn't know that either when I first watched it.
Yeah.
So when he zoomed out, like as soon as it zoomed out, he's like, "Why aren't you talking?" I started like my eyes got super watery. I'm emotional about the anime. I get so invested in the story. I just love because it's anime is the only storytelling mechanism that can make you feel this way.
Yeah,
such a beautiful.
It's a perfect medium for something like this. Yeah.
Yeah. So he tells him that he's like, "Why aren't you crying? Or why aren't you talking?" And he leans in forward. And at this point, and I think I'm not sure if it's here or it was previously, but it flashbacks to the cat scene where he goes like, "You're crying too," and he's like, "That's preposterous."
Yeah.
And it shows him now he's crying.
Yeah, he's crying.
He's legitimately tearing up on Akira's body.
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, I'm crying," and he's like wiping. I don't know why. I feel something, Akira. I've never felt this way.
Yeah.
My best friend, and he's like feeling like, I'm not sure if it's guilt or if it's remorse or he's feeling something. He finally feels something.
Yeah.
And then as he's monologuing, it starts to zoom out of the planet. And that's where we see like one light like ball fall and hit
Yeah.
And then we start seeing like thousands of them.
Which is the beginning of the first episode I was just talking about.
Well, it's the beginning of it's a story where he talks about the
Yeah.
dinosaurs being extinct.
Yeah.
And then that's where we end the show.
Yeah, that's how it ends. I actually really like that. And again, it ties heavily into the relay, like the circular relay that they're trying to do.
Yeah. They kept doing this scene where they're handing off the baton, like someone I guess it's Miki, Miku, Akira, and Ryou, where they hand it to they keep handing it off to each person as kids, and he goes to hand it off to Ryou, and Ryou drops it.
Yeah,
he doesn't take it.
Yeah,
which is kind of the story that's happening.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if it's sequential, but Miku does hand it off to Miki. Remember? When she dies? Miku?
Yeah.
Miki, I guess, handed off to, Head.
Mm-hmm.
And now, it just like, it passes off to Ryou, and Ryou just doesn't take it.
Go for it.
It's I'm sure there's a huge metaphor behind it, but all I saw was that he stopped the circuit.
Yeah.
That he ended the run. And and that's kind of how I pictured it. Like, while everyone has the same motive and goal, he didn't.
Yeah, and now it's got to start all over again.
Yeah.
Now the race is going to start where Miku and Mika have to start handing the baton back and forth to each other.
They did that scene like 8 times.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. I'm sure there was like the number amount of times it meant something. Again, because everything kind of, I feel like it meant something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the end of the show.
Yeah.
And it's one of those shows where I'll give you advice real quick, everyone. If you watch this show and at the very end of it, you watch a show that's lighthearted, you're not gonna like it. Yeah.
You want to watch? Yeah.
I watched this show, and then I watched the volleyball Haikyuu, and I didn't like it because, like, legitimately, and I'm no spoiler alerts for it, but they're like crying about losing a game. Ryu's crying for losing his the love of his life, his best friend, and also like the planet is decimated while he's saying this. So you got to be careful on who you what anime you watch after this.
The stakes are just so much higher, and that's one of the things I liked about it. Granted, like I said, went a little too fast for my taste, but it goes for biblical event.
Yeah,
as the ending.
It starts off with like this small like high school track team.
Yeah.
And then it goes to like the end of the universe or the end of the planet Earth.
Yeah.
And again, that's in the span of how long we really don't know, but I mean it can't be more than a year.
Yeah.
It happens so quick, and we watching this story unfold like episode after episode as it unfolds into grand like huge levels of unfolding into like big like oh, you lost the track meet. Oh shit, the planet's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like it was so much, and it was to me it was just a great anime, and the ending always gets to me, like because it's such a good ending. But the themes that was touched in here were so strong, and they're very. I mean, there's so many different themes. One of the big themes that I got from it, and you can speak on what you got, is like the hedonism and the debauchery that was kind of displayed by the devils, while It was kind of like they're using that like a catalyst to just survive and be able to live on the planet Earth.
Yeah. One of the things that I kind of took away from it is like kind of like bigotry. Like they're talking about like persecuting people for being devils, but that's like any facet of like human life. You can persecute people for they kind of touch on it for like being gay or like or being the wrong side. They just call them whenever they don't understand whether someone's a devil or a human. And it's just a easy catch-all to just murder people. Like it's easy to be a bigot. It's easy to just persecute people. Like I found that a good
that's like reoccurring
narrative.
It's reoccurring a theme throughout history.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
so easy to just like, nope, you're bad. You're the devil.
You're Roman Catholic rather than just Catholic or whatever.
Yeah. So to me, that was like one of those things I always think about is like, it happened in the Salem witch trials, but it also happened like with other like historical figures, with like the Holocaust. Like,
it's not unbelievable at all.
Oh no, that when they were attacking, it was like I'm surprised that because it was so quick. But I feel like it would be that quick.
Yeah, for sure.
It would be almost instantaneously. Like once the devils were outed, the next day everyone would load up on guns. That night everyone would go out and riot.
Yeah. We would be questioning our neighbors. Like this guy over here, this guy across the street. Who knows what they're doing?
Yeah, and like when was it like what the Cold War when they were like afraid of like communism? Yeah, like the whole like
there's plenty of U.S. history to back that up.
So there is a lot of like historical like themes that kind of got brought in this, but again it comes back to this like, and it comes back to this idea of like I don't know who's the good guy, I don't know